with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to roll into our finals predictions. We've been teasing a little bit, and it's about time we get here. So the way we're going to do this is by we're going to give you our top 12 here, and we're going to go through. I think what we're going to do, Donnie, the best way to do this is you give your 12 through 9, I give my 12 through 9, and then we go through from 8 to 1. All right?
Sure.
So,
Yep.
hit us. Who is barely missing the finals?
All right. And this is how close it is. From 12th and 11th both end up with 40 points, 8 points back of my 8th place team.
Okay, I'm there with
Finishing you. 12th, a little bit of a surprise here, is the Essendon Bombers.
Oh.
With 40 points. Yep. 40
Okay.
points. Some big wins late in the season, including a round 23 upset of the Tigers. Gets them up to 40 points, who are my 11th seeded team, also with 40 points, also missing the finals. So the Tigers fall out of the finals. They are not in the 8. My 10th seeded team, just missing the finals by a full game, will be the Gold Coast Suns. And in ninth, also missing out, is the Western Bulldogs.
Oh, snap. Okay. I think we can make some guesses on who his 8th team is right now. For me, Essendon did not make as big of a jump that you had. I have St. Kilda dropping down to 12.
I have 11, the Saints at 13th.
Ooh, 13th right there.
13th.
Yep. I think the worst part about this list, or the most painful, is that my Giants dropped to 16. You know, when you're only better than North and West Coast, it's not great.
Me too, and I only have them 4 points ahead of West Coast at the end of the year.
Oh.
Yep. I have West Coast. I have North Melbourne with 8 points, West Coast with 16, GWS with 20, Adelaide 14, and Adelaide 24, Hawthorn 14, 32. St. Kilda 36 at 13.
Ooh, yep. That's it's pretty damn close right there. I gave I had both North and West Coast finishing with 12, so that's going to be our spot there. Yeah, right. I think we'll maybe a little bit of a hint when we get to our tips for round 19. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink for you guys. The number 10 or 11, I have Port Adelaide finishing off right there. I think they get, obviously they're within the game. My 8th team has 44 points. Even my 9th place team has 44 points as well, so it's going to come down percentage. Port finishes with 40, so just a game out of that, and their percentage points might have been able to get the job done there. At 10, I got the Richmond Tigers, just barely missing it as well. If they had a game, they would have made it in on percentage points if they're able to get to 44. I think there's a bit of an upset hidden in here that some Tigers fans might not be a huge fan of, if you want to put it that way. And it comes down to their last game of the year when Essendon beats them.
I also have Essendon beat them in round 23.
Exactly. So that's going to be a scary one. In number 9, this was extremely painful, Donnie. But the Gold Coast Suns are not making the top 8 this year.
Wow, Gold Coast.
And I think some crazy stuff is going to happen. They're going to find a way to make it in because it's Gold Coast Suns. Go Suns. We love this bandwagon. But according to my stupid brain, they don't make it in. So obviously my worst take of the season. I still love you guys because they miss out on just 5 percentage points behind the Western Bulldogs, who make it in at 8. Donnie, how about that?
Doggies in at 8th. Ready? My
Doggies in 8th.
My 8th place team is the Collingwood Magpies. They just barely make the finals with the sub 100 percentage of 99.2.
Ooh, not
evened
great.
up with the 7th place team at 48, but the percentage gets them in 8th.
Who's at 7 then?
Number 7, flying into the finals out from outside, the Port Adelaide Power.
Oh, snap.
Ending with 48 points at the end of the year and winning the derby, the showdown in the last game of the year to get them into the finals.
That is incredible. I freaking love that.
So Collingwood and Port are 8 and 7.
Them.
Number 6 for me is the Carlton Blues. Number 5 is the Sydney Swans.
Ooh, okay. We finally got to the team we can agree on. At number 7 for me, it's going to be Carlton. And in number 6, I got the Collingwood Magpies. I was actually playing around with a couple things. I think there's just going to be a lot of close games, but they're going to have a game up on Carlton, so you don't even have to worry about percentage points for them, luckily for their sake. And then number 5, the Sydney Swans. Donnie, I had them they were so close to making their way in to the top 4. And you want to know what's funny? One of my biggest determining games of this that would throw a wrench in a couple team seasons is Friday, August 19th. I'm assuming there's a great chance they put this as the first one. Honestly, I'm not sure where they're going to put 23,
this.
But Brisbane and Melbourne. So this is the game I highlighted that's going to have the biggest effect on the ladder, because right now I have Melbourne winning this game, and they're going to finish. We'll get into the top 4 here. I have Melbourne winning, beating Brisbane. They move into 3, and Brisbane drops to 4. But if the Lions win this game, the Lions move up to 2, and Melbourne drops to 6, with Sydney making it into the top 4.
That's
right?
Crazy.
Isn't that a bit of a change?
Yep.
So
with mine's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. What we'll go through the top 4 is I have Brisbane 4th, Fremantle 3rd, okay, Melbourne 2nd, and Geelong 1st. But as you said, that game, that round 23 matchup on that weekend most likely will be the Friday night game. If I switch the winner to Brisbane will be 2nd, and Melbourne will be 4th.
Oh, this is a big game no matter what you do. For me, flip 2 and 3. Freo fans, with your amazing retro jumpers, I have you guys making your way into number 2. And Melbourne finishing 3rd just because, over a few games, Melbourne has some winnable ones. I think they beat Brisbane. I think they beat Carlton. But also, I'm calling because, of course, here you guys get a bold tip, possibly in advance round 21, because Collingwood beats Melbourne at the MCG. So that's my bold tip of the round, locked in for round 21 already, Donnie. That's how crazy and arguably stupid I am, but that's where I'm riding into. Obviously, if they win that game, it's going to be a little bit different. But also, I think one of the biggest curiosities of a game I had as well is another Friday night game that might be able to bump Melbourne to 2 or Freo to 5, because in Optus Stadium, this one is going to be a killer. Freo and Melbourne in round 20. I got Freo winning.
Yep, I do too, because I just as you were saying that, I just flipped that game from Fremantle to Melbourne. If I flip that, Sydney jumps into 4th and Fremantle drops to 5th.
Ooh, boy.
By my percentage, Sydney would jump in by almost 4 points percentage wise. Sydney would then go into the top 4. Yep.
This is so much fun. But based on our predictions, the only team that is unaffected by a lot of this is going to be the Geelong Cats, because I have them finishing a game above second place. So I have them at 72 points.
And again, we're kind of going off our tips here a little bit. I don't really see a danger game. Like this week is somewhat a little bit of a danger game with Port Adelaide. But I mean, your round 20 minutes.
Your talks they rest Dangerfield. Is that correct?
Well, they get the Western Bulldogs round 20 down in GMHBA, and like I kind of said, I don't see them losing that one. You get St Kilda, who is playing like a dumpster fire right now, also at GMHBA in round 21. Round 22, they get the Gold Coast Suns up at Metricon. I think, like I said, that one. Like if for some crazy reason Gold Coast win it, like I'll flip it right now. If I flip that game, ready for this? If I flip that game, Collingwood is out of the finals and Gold Coast is in.
Dude, let's go Gold Coast!
I just flipped that game. If for any reason Geelong, and here's the thing, Geelong would still be top of the table even losing that game.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, if I flip that game and Gold Coast were to win that game at Metricon, they'd be in the 8th spot. So both Port Adelaide and Gold Coast, who we kind of have tried to put a line through over the last two rounds, would then get in, as Collingwood and the Western Bulldogs would both fall out of the final, both fall out of the chances.
Gold Coast is able to beat...
and that would drop Richmond down to 11th.
Ooh. And if Gold Coast is able to knock off Geelong in a game where Geelong might be resting guys, I have them making it in at 8. So, hey, Geelong, do us all a favor, please. Just rest your guys. You don't need this game. You don't need round 22. Rest your guys. Maybe rest the whole team. Who knows? Let Gold Coast get this one, make their way into the finals so we can have a grand old time. But, man, obviously there's a lot that can change. The only thing really consensus we have is from our current ladders is Sydney at 5 and Geelong at 1. So besides those two, I think there's tons and tons that can happen. You heard from our kind of just flipping a couple of games how crazy the ladder can get. So obviously the ladders, we're probably not going to get this one right. But, if you do, that's amazing. And if you guys do, that's a free T-shirt right there. So go ahead and make sure
here's another toss-up round. Staying around round 23, a game that we had discussed a couple of rounds ago is Carlton Collingwood. I originally tipped Carlton, so I wanted to see if I tip Collingwood goes from 8th to 7th, and Port drops to 8th. So some of these games could be massive when it comes to just who you play, which would be really crazy because if that happens, they would then play each other again in the first one of the elimination finals. They would play each other 2 rounds in a row if that happened.
Heck yeah. I have what's funny is that no matter the way my ladder is set up, no matter who wins that game, they're stuck in 6th and 7th for Collingwood and Carlton respectively.
Yep. Well, I have Collingwood dropping a couple of games over the last few rounds. I have them in round 20 falling to Port Adelaide, even at the MCG, because I think Port's playing pretty well. Again, I think Collingwood has kind of been beneficial of being able to win. Round 21, I believe that is the round that they play Melbourne. So I most likely Melbourne should win that one. But if for any reason Collingwood were to win that, Melbourne would then drop to 5th. So we'll flip that back.
It's fine. So I just switched around the games to Collingwood losing to Port, then also losing to Melbourne, and they're still at 6 for me.
Yep.
Even with those, man, this is going to be a lot of fun. Let us know what you guys get. Go ahead, go through the ladder predictor over on the AFL website, and send a screenshot of what you guys have. And if you want to beat the tiebreaker in any case, go ahead and tip your finals already as well. I'll give you my tip is that Geelong is going to win it all this year, but a surprise bit in the first round for one of the top 4 teams, and the surprise team is going to probably make their way into the finals or into the grand final against Geelong as well. So that is going to be a lot of fun.